Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to pull up a chair and I want to talk to you guys about something that's been on my mind for the last few months regarding the plot twist of the evolved Shinju, and in particular, the one who goes by the name Jura and his fascination with Naruto Uzumaki. It's been something that I understand why the story might be taking the approach that it is with this character, but as more time passes, I find myself skeptical about Jura and his intention to hunt down Naruto, in particular the decision to have him hunt down Naruto Uzumaki inside of Kawaki's dimension. And that's why in today's video I want to raise some of my concerns with you guys in the community regarding Jura's mission to retrieve Naruto and how he could gain access to Naruto in that Daikoku dimension, and why honestly I think Jura's plan to go after Naruto runs the risk of being something that does more damage than it does good to the Boruto story. And I know that last line's probably a hot take, but I'm very much convinced by the end of this video you guys will agree with me on that. As always, when we dive into these videos, we're going to be using the same format that we've been doing on this channel since it was born. We're going to look at the reason why this entire conversation needs to be had as a community. We'll be looking at the narrative impact as to if it has any weight to it, and we'll be discussing whether or not this needs to be something that happens. Throwing that out there since we've been experimenting with thumbnails on the channel, but you've been rocking with me from day one. You know the substance itself hasn't changed as far as the format of the videos themselves. Finally, huge Naruto Uzumaki video essay and a 40-minute Boruto video are dropping this weekend on the channel, which you're not going to want to miss out on because the editors crushed it. They've been working hard the last several weeks to get those videos done. So diving into the chapter itself, I'm sounding the alarm bells on Jura and this whole notion that he's going to go into Konoha with the intention to hunt down Naruto. It's not that I doubt that he's got every meaning to go look for Naruto. The fact that Damon was wanting Kawaki, he's screwed if this happens. That is proof enough alone that it's going to happen. Jura's gonna come to Konoha, but I'm more so concerned because I think this runs the risk of being a waste of time for the story. And I think it runs the risk of damaging the story. While we don't know how he plans to go into Konoha and make his way to Naruto's location, which is part of the intrigue in all this because of the whole mystery element it has, because Naruto's technically inside of Kawaki's dimension, I'm a little concerned about the potential payoff of that moment not being something that is earned. For instance, we see Jura in the Ishiki dimension where he keeps the 10 tails, and we see that he's got the chakra cubes in the background that he just happens to sit on, and the cubes that link back to the Daikoku dimension, they're there. The idea that Jura has a way into the Daikoku dimension is not something that we can rule out, and it's something we discussed in the past here on the channel, bringing up the Buddhism connection and how all that leads to a potential backdoor into the dimension via Jura and Kawaki, which if you're curious about that video is already on this channel. I'll edit the description box later today to link said video. I'm not going to repeat those points here because again the video is already there. However, whether or not there's a backdoor way into the Daikoku dimension via Jura and Kawaki, or it be some Otsuki mumbo jumbo trickery that gets thrown into the story to make Jura get access to Naruto, I see two big problems with this whole thing. The first is that it goes back to flash forward sequence, which we know we're close in that the time period is now. Boruto and Kawaki have hit their growth spurts, while other people in their generation not so much. But we don't know how far into the future that moment is from where we currently are. And as I said back when Ikimoto said back in 2020, the time skip is coming soon, reminding people how Kishimoto told us that the connection between Kakashi and Madara will be explained soon. And with Madara at the time being an as of yet revealed Obito, and his words, he had something planned for Sakura's character to establish her as the heroine member of Team 7. He said soon back then, and we ended up waiting a whole 2.5 years after that statement was made for the Obito reveal, and another year after that for the back-to-back power amps that Sakura got with her Byakugo seal. Soon for Ikimoto ended up being 3 years as well, until we got to the time skip. If Jura and company are going into Konoha now, we know that they aren't successful in reaching Naruto, either due to some unforeseen complication or the fact that they get destroyed, because by the time Boruto versus Kawaki takes place, Kawaki pretty much lets us know that Naruto is still still around at that point in the story. It's part of his threat to Boruto. That's part of why I'm not a big fan of Jura getting to Naruto, but there's another reason that I think you guys might agree with me with, but it's gonna be one that's going to trigger some people potentially. There's a bigger payoff on the table if you don't have Jura make his way to Naruto successfully, or if you just keep Naruto written out the story for much longer. And it's something that I said way back when I first started discussing Boruto on my first channel, KRYPTONIAN, saying I thought that they need to go ahead and rip the band-aid off and just remove Naruto from the story. The reason why is I think there's more to be had in this payoff if you pull the trigger and wait to have anything Naruto-centric be reintroduced into the story until later. It elevates Boruto Uzumaki more. One of the problems that Boruto as a franchise has had as a Naruto sequel is that when it started, you had people such as myself included who were not willing to give Boruto a fair shot, because while we thought Boruto Naruto the movie was a chill story, it was a nice swan song for the OG generation, it gave you some intrigue for Boruto's generation, it was a little harder to get people outside of the hardcore Boruto fans interested in the story that didn't have Naruto and Sasuke as a major crux to the story itself. The whole school days academy stuff, a lot of people such as myself found it boring. I've been open in the past. I dropped the anime after 4 episodes for 3 whole years, and I dropped the manga until around chapter 18 when Kawaki first showed up because the story wasn't appealing to me. I know I wasn't alone there. However, when the duo of Kishimoto and Ikimoto finally had the balls to pull the trigger on removing Naruto from the story, we saw all the interest spike in Boruto overnight. Between Kawaki sealing away Naruto and Hinata and the omnipotence plot twist, we suddenly had another surge of interest in Boruto, where well-known detractors of the series were suddenly singing its praises after shitting on it for years, and people who were on the fence about it suddenly were open to giving the story a shot through the manga. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex continued the ballsy approach by having Sasuke removed from the story as well in chapter 5. The fact that you are able to move the 2 iconic characters from the parent series, and it didn't impact the physical and digital sales by a significant amount, which we'll touch on later because I'm gonna clear up some misconceptions that are out there. I think this is all the more reason why you continue down this path. Give Boruto Uzumaki more time to get out the shadows of his father and his mentor Sasuke. Make readers earn that moment where Boruto's standing side by side with them after they get saved from their fates. If you do that, you establish a much bigger payoff because it lets you go deeper than the payoff that Kishimoto gave us when he had Naruto and Minato teaming up in the 4th Ninja War. The last time that Naruto was dealing with his son, he believed him to be someone who, while he was definitely stronger than he used to be, he still thought he was too inexperienced to be allowed to fight someone like Code who was stronger than Jigen. And most importantly, which often gets overlooked, Naruto was still traumatized by his son getting killed. Boruto was someone who started out not knowing what it meant to be a shinobi, and by the climax of part 1, where he allowed Kawaki to kill him, Naruto saw that his son was someone who accepted what it meant to be a shinobi, to be a tool meant to protect the ninja village and nation that you serve, but was still lacking in experience. Sasuke, before his memories were altered, had basically started the whole process of prepping Boruto to be a successor as the Shadow Hokage, basically be the shadow to the fire shadow, when he gave Boruto the headband for keeps, and even after his memory was altered, he still chose each day to fight omnipotence, having altered his memories, albeit off of the word of his daughter, but he still trained Boruto like he was training his own successor. If you wait to have Naruto unsealed and Sasuke removed from that tree and allow them to stand side by side with Boruto, it takes it back to the versus Momoshiki arc. Boruto for the most part was an observer in that battle with Momoshiki. Sasuke brought him along for the purposes of having him see what high-level Kage level shinobi could do in combat, but also as his trump card via the Vanisher Rasengan, in case things took a turn for the worse and he could take advantage of Otsutsuki not being familiar with ninja trickery. Naruto, we know from the light novels, gave Boruto the chakra for that giant Rasengan that killed Momoshiki because Naruto wanted his son to know what it felt like to use such powerful ninjutsu, because he thought it would inspire his son to work harder, which makes that scene where you see all those memories of Naruto's trials and tribulations flood into Boruto hit home that much harder now. If you wait to get us to this moment, now all of a sudden you take the story much further along. Naruto is suspended in time right now. When he gets out, he's still going to think that he has a 12-year-old son who hasn't lived up to the potential of what he could be as a shinobi. The son who he's going to be staring at is going to be a son who's gone through pain he's endured, and that cannot be overstated because it goes back full circle to when we're first introduced into Boruto Uzumaki in Naruto chapter 700, in a scene you've never seen if you've only consumed the Naruto IP via the anime. Naruto chapter 700. Naruto stops Boruto from further painting the Hokage faces and tells him that his role as Hokage requires Naruto to sacrifice time with his family, and tells Boruto that he doesn't understand now, but if Boruto continues down that path of being a shinobi, that he will understand in the future, and tells Boruto that for now he has to endure, which is what shinobi do. His son has certainly endured since that moment, and between the scar on his eye that he gained by protecting a comrade, the weariness and fatigue in the eye that remains, and the face that hasn't smiled in years, the lips that were speaking to Naruto that haven't tasted a Thunder Burger in years, the person standing before Naruto would now be a true shinobi, the second coming of Minato, just as Kakashi called Boruto more than once in the past. I personally think that that is why you wait to have Naruto unsealed, as unpopular as that's going to be. I think the best thing that ever happened to Boruto's character is removing Naruto from the story, and looking at the data for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, I think that point has been proven. People jumped the gun when they said, oh my god, the first volume sold blah 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 blah, leaving out some context in the fact that digital sales for Shueisha make up close to 60%, so physical sales are going down for everything for Shueisha. The chart I have on the screen goes up to October. It does not have November sales data. November sales data actually pushes that closer to 60%. It should be around 58%. If I can find that chart before I publish, I'll update the thing on the screen. Which, reminder, November is the last month of sales that accounted for that calendar year. Okay, so post recording, I have the update here. So for the entire industry, I want to give you just something beyond Shueisha. The entire industry, digital sales make up 70%, outside of a few outliers, those outliers being series like JJK and One Piece and My Hero Academia. 90,000 in sales after 24 days still makes Boruto the second highest selling IP for V-Jump magazine. So behind Dragon Ball Super, but ahead of series like the Dragon Quest manga and the Yu-Gi-Oh spinoff. The chart on the screen has a bit of an error with Dragon Ball Super because it has all of the Dragon Ball Super volumes on there. Dragon Ball Super didn't start running in VJet magazine until around the time Boruto did. So the Dragon Ball Super numbers should start at either volume 10 or volume 11. Go ahead and clip this because this can be the only time I talk about Boruto sales in a video or something like that. A lot of people disingenuously compare Boruto sales to series that are in Weekly Shonen Jump when you should really be comparing it to series that are in V-Jump magazine. And the whole thing with digital versus physical, that's a real conversation. That's not cope, those are facts. This new Boruto manga volume started out selling slow because you only had 3 days worth of sales data, so it came in lower than Boruto Naruto Next Generation's volume 20. Ended up selling with Boruto 2 Blue Vortex volume 1 a little less than Black Clover, which was Weekly Shonen Jump, and only one chapter added, I believe, that included something from Jump Giga, which comes out quarterly. So everybody crying about Boruto being monthly, us Black Clover fans gotta wait 3 months for chapters now. But what you're seeing here with just sales in general, again, outside of your outliers like Jujutsu Kaisen, most manga that are coming out, physical sales year over year are plummeting. A few years ago, selling 30 to 60,000 in your first 10 days of being in release wouldn't even crack the top 50. Now, if you sell 30,000, you're liable to break the top 5. Some weeks you might only be down in the top 10. So that's why, again, go ahead and clip this because I'm not going to talk Boruto sales ever again, because you have disingenuous people that are not giving you guys all the data and are not giving you context for the broader industry as a whole or where Boruto is with its contemporaries. Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Volume 1 is on pace to hit 100,000 physical volume sales, which is actually faster than the last couple of Boruto manga volumes did, including Volume 20, which led us into that time skip itself. The last 2 volumes needed around 10 weeks in order to hit 100,000. I think that this was the right call, but I am curious to know if you guys are in my corner on this or not. Do you think that Jura needs to get Naruto now, or do you think that this needs to be something they wait until potentially end of the series to reintroduce Naruto?